task is to unify against the few agents of chaos and terror that are left and that are holding hostage the dreams of millions of great people. The biggest and most destructive of these forces is
Assalamu alaikum. Son of Man Rahim here, Messenger Covenant, Breaker 7 Seals. Okay, watch this, brothers and sisters. This short presentation video here. No, got it over here.
Our task is to unify against the few agents of chaos and terror that are left and that are holding hostage the dreams of millions of great people. The biggest and most destructive of these forces is the regime in Iran, which has caused unthinkable suffering in Syria, Lebanon, Gaza, Iraq, Yemen, and beyond. There could be no sharper contrast with the path you have pursued on the Arabian Peninsula than the disaster unfolding right across in the Gulf of Iran. Think of that. I wanted to name it that. I said, they're not going to let them do that. Do you mind if I stop that? I stopped it. We're not going to let that happen. While you have been constructing the world's tallest skyscrapers in Jeddah and Dubai, Iran's 1979 landmarks are collapsing into rubble and dust. They had it going for a little while under a much different system, but those buildings are largely falling apart, falling down, while you're building some of the world's biggest and most incredible infrastructure projects. Buildings, all sorts of things you're building that nobody's ever even seen before. Iran's decades of neglect and mismanagement have left the country plagued by rolling blackouts lasting for hours a day, all the time you hear about it. While your skill has turned dry deserts into fertile farmland, Iran's leaders have managed to turn green farmland into dry deserts as their corrupt water mafia, it's called the water mafia, causes droughts and empty riverbeds. They get rich. They don't let the people have any of it. And then, of course, there's the key difference at the root of it all. While the Arab states are focused on becoming pillars of regional stability and world commerce, Iran's leaders have focused on stealing their people's wealth to fund terror and bloodshed abroad. Most tragic of all, they have dragged down an entire region with them. Countless lives were lost in the Iranian effort to maintain a crumbling regime in Syria. Look at what happened in Syria. In Lebanon, the Hezbollah proxies have pillaged the hopes of a nation whose capital, Beirut, was once called the Paris of the Middle East. Can you imagine? All of this misery and so much more was entirely avoidable. Absolutely avoidable. And Muhammad knew that. You know that. Smart people know that. If only the Iranian regime had focused on building the nation up instead of tearing the region down. Yet I'm here today not merely to condemn the past chaos of Iran's leaders, but to offer them a new path and a much better path toward a far better, more hopeful future. As I've shown repeatedly, I am willing to end past conflicts and forge new partnerships for a better and more stable world, even if our differences may be very profound, which obviously they are in the case of Iran. I have never believed in having permanent enemies. I am different than a lot of people think. I don't like permanent enemies. Sometimes you need enemies to do the job, and you have to do it right. The enemies get you motivated. In fact, some of the closest friends of the United States of America, nations we fought wars against in generations past, and now they're our friends and our allies. I want to make a deal with Iran if they can make a deal with Iran, I'll be very happy if we're going to make the region and the world a safer place. But if Iran's leadership rejects this olive branch and continues to attack their neighbors, then we will have no choice but to inflict massive maximum pressure, drive Iranian oil exports to zero, like I did before. If you know that, the virtually bankrupt country because of what it did. They had no money for terror, they had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah, and take all action required to stop the regime from ever having a nuclear weapon. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. But with that said, Iran can have a much brighter future, but will never allow America and its allies to be threatened with terrorism and nuclear attack. The choice is theirs to make. We really want them to be a successful country. We want them to be a wonderful, safe, great country. But they cannot have a nuclear weapon. This is an offer that will not last forever. The time is right now for them to choose. Right now, we don't have a lot of time to wait. Things are happening at a very fast pace. They're happening right here, and they're happening at a very fast pace, so they have to make their move right now. One way or the other, make their move. As I said in my inaugural address, my greatest hope is to be a peacemaker and to be a unifier. I don't like war. We have the greatest military, by the way, in the history of the world. You know, I rebuilt our military in my first 4 years, and we built it into the most powerful military there is. And you saw that when I knocked out ISIS in 3 weeks. People said it would take 4 years, 5 years. I did it. We did it in 3 weeks. 6 days ago, my administration successfully brokered a historic ceasefire to stop the escalating violence between India and Pakistan. And I used trade to a large extent to do it. I said, fellas, come on, let's make a deal. Let's do some trading. Let's not trade nuclear missiles. Let's trade the things that you make so beautifully. And they both have very powerful leaders, very strong leaders, good leaders, smart leaders. And it all stopped. Hopefully it will remain that way, but it all stopped. I was very proud of Marco Rubio and all of the people that worked so hard. Marco, stand up. What a great job you did on that. Thank you, J.D. Vance. Marco. The whole group worked with you, but it was a great job. And I think actually getting along, maybe we can even...
Okay, brothers and sisters. Everything he says is a total lie. It's easily proved. But I try to explain something, right? See, they feel weak by nature. But there's something else going on. I talk about, quality. Now, your actions affect you. Your actions affect you. Internally and externally. If you eat bad food, you'll be sick. All your organs are designed to work a certain way, and if you abuse them, then you can make your heart stop working properly. You can make your lungs stop working properly. You can make your brain stop working properly if you misuse it. And when they tell lies like that, they're corrupting their brain. So after a while, you have a heart transplant or lung or whatever, or it's cancer, whatever, or it's something you can't. And usually, once that happens, you can not heal it. And that's where the Quran talks about your actions cling to your neck, because these people, especially the last 500 years, were all, they've been lying all the time. I mean, they lie about everything. And so therefore, what happens is, the point is that they grow up in that environment, that lying is the only way you can succeed. That's the only way. See, that's the quality of this country. I'm not telling you the quality of energy. So in other words, if you want to move up. Remember, they control the qualified energy, so they have to act a certain way, but they had their own people work a certain way because they realized that the only way they can succeed, they call it patriotism, whatever you want to call it, right? You have to lie. So it's built in. They allow it. And so as you grow up, you find that if you go and start checking, you find everything they told you was lies. But you know, if you speak that, then you're going to be shut down because the power says, no, you just got to say this. Make all kinds of, you're not patriotic or whatever, but you got to say this. Right? If you're a politician, you got to say this. Politics not about telling the truth. It's about influencing people, convincing people, right? Impressing people. But that's not about truth. That's about whatever they, like you want a baby to stop crying, right? You give them something, it may not be good for them, but you want them to stop crying. So they know that the only way they can succeed in this system they developed, that they have to lie. And their children taught from, and they said, well, from the cradle, you gotta lie. Okay? And then that's why one of the problems I have, because you tell, you lie, it's confusing because the child, he's a child, and they lie to their parent. They're gonna punish for lying, but then the child realizes as he grows up that he's got to lie to succeed. So you got the contradiction there. So that's the confusion. So the thing is that everything he said, he probably believes. Because if you lie enough, after a while, 2 + 2 is 22, and that's the way you see it, and that's your mind calculates that. And so anybody say anything different, you're going to say it's wrong. Because it doesn't conform to your distorted calculating brain anymore. Okay? You have muscles that don't function or function badly. Hearts that don't function or function badly. Right? You understand what I'm saying? I don't know if you get this point. So if you go out there lying and all that kind of stuff, what you're doing is corrupting, you're storing the calculations here, your calculator. So then your calculator starts malfunctioning. But you don't realize it's malfunctioning because you need it to function and let you know it's malfunctioning. I mean, how can you make a right decision if you corrupted the ability to make decisions? So therefore, they say, it's hard to listen to stuff. My wife said, she looked at me, but I'd be like, she had all the tools and stuff, because not broke the TV, because everything is lies. It's just, but the thing is, it passes, because he got on in Arabia. In Arabia, they're supposed to be, what if you know nobody about God? They supposed to be holy. He got right there and said all these lies, and then you got the Crown Prince. What he says? Now remember, he's talking about other Muslims. They can have nuclear weapons. He's clapping. Ryan's no good. He's clapping. And this person is murdering his brothers over in Gaza. He's just as guilty as far as his list, because he's given the weapons to do it. And by their law, you're just guilty. And he's presently doing it right now. And he's welcome in. So they corrupt also. And if you listen, if you pay close attention to that, it reveals exactly what I've been telling you. When they go to war with Iran, the dragon, how it's going to be with them. He's right now. He's telling them, you can have a nuclear weapon. Yeah. Iran's no good. Now, when has Iran attacked anybody? Where's Iran did anything to America? America went over there to destabilize them, put a tyrant on the throne, the Shah, for 30-some years or whatever. He tortured the people and beat them. I mean, he was worse than Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein could study under him. And when they got rid of him, right, and they were stealing their oil, to my sanctions, they always had sanctions on Iran. It was just, the way it was, is that they had the Shah, He was just getting them all they want. So what's the difference? I mean, okay, you say you can't buy or sell anything, right? Okay, that's sanctioned, right? But what if you say you take all the money that they could buy and sell? Ain't that the same thing? So all that they could buy and sell with, they was taken. So isn't that the sanction too? But they see them. And how do you get away with saying this stuff? Because they're liars by nature. Mystery shed blood, and the whole system is designed so it trains you to lie. Like going to the gym, you train to build certain muscle. It trains you to lie. And after a while, you believe a lie. That's why they do what they call those lie detectors. Right? That's why people like that can survive a lie detector. But they say if you actually believe what you're saying and you're lying, it doesn't affect you. It's only when you know you know your consciousness bothers you, then it affects your heart and your system. So then you know, because you say, oh man, you know. But if you believe it, they say those people that actually believe that what they're saying is true, they get right to a lie detector. Yes, because it's designed to detect if you feel bad about what you're saying or you know it's wrong, and so you have a physical reaction. What he says, total BS. Evil Iran. See? And they can't have a nuclear weapon. Why do they need a nuclear weapon? Well, why do you need one? Why is false Israel need one? They just destabilizing the region. No, false Israel destabilizing the region. They want nuclear weapons. They're going to stop proliferation of nuclear weapons because if they get everybody, well, no, everybody wants it because false Israel has it, and you put them in there. But this what I'm saying is going on. It's passing over everybody's head. See, and you're not going to, like I said, it's about resonance. I'm just putting information out there. It's not going to hit our people until 3 more days when that war starts. And then you're going to see an impact. Because right now, it's just falling on deaf ears. Deaf ears. Let me put it this way. The people that claim that they understand this, they're blind. They say, how you know? See, that's why it says those are elevated places all by their marks. But if you're blind, you may not know you're blind. Say you're in the land, everybody was blind. How you don't know anything about sight? You never heard anything about sight. What's sight? What's that? I don't know. You couldn't explain it to them because they never saw anything. Nobody's ever seen anything. What is that? Because being deaf is what everybody is, and that's what everybody understands. You see, so. And then if somebody came around that could see, they couldn't explain to the blind. But they could see it, the blind, but the blind, they can't, the blind would not be able to see them. You see? So, see, there's a difference between memory and sight. Let me give you an example. Say you're at a mall. Now you're a blind person, and you've been going to the mall, right? And you start going there, but you're blind, right? And you ain't got nobody to show you around, so you start feeling your way around. So it's kind of clumsy at first, but you keep on after a while. You start feeling your way around, and you say, okay. You remember you were in this store. And this store was like 50 feet from the entrance on the right-hand side. And then the other store is like 100 feet from the entrance on the left-hand side, so forth. So in that store, that's Popeyes and whatever. So after a while, maybe after a couple of months, man, you got it down. You got it down. So you can walk around there and you go to the store. Okay, I know what this one is. I'm going to the store I want to go to, right? And you got it down. That's memory. But you can't see if something change. You can't see if a new store open. That means that something changed. Okay, oh, you got a new. You walk in there, And hey man, I want a Big Mac. Hey, Big Mac's not here anymore. Oh, well, what you got? Well, it's a clothing store now. So you can't see that stuff. And you bumping into stuff. You start bumping into stuff. They start changing the arrangement around, right? Moving some things around, the plant stuff around. You start bumping into stuff because you can't see that. You see? But the person that can see, they don't need memory because they see it. So the thing is that, you know, if they just remembering stuff, they tell us they remember, you know they're blind because they rely on their memory. And that's what we got with this angel stuff, because people just repeat when I say that, I mean they're relying on memory. Because they could see, they wouldn't have to repeat what I'm saying. They'll be revealing things on their own. See, because they see, oh, that's what that means. That means. See? So you know they're blind. They don't understand. They're saying, and that's what happened to Elijah's people. They was all blind. So when they was all blind, and somebody jump up after Elijah's, because he was like they're seeing. Well, I don't want to say seeing eye dog. He was like their what would you call it? Guide. He was blind. Just following him. Followers. I don't like followers. I don't like followers. Just following him. See? But when he stopped moving, then they say stop. Because they was followers. And then somebody came along and said, well, I can see. Well, they don't know if they can see or not. So they say, okay, so follow that person, because that person tell them to see. So, well, we know we can't see. So they follow that person. Right into a ditch where he leads them to. If he's an enemy, he then right into a ditch. And they follow right, they don't know. Lead him right into a ditch. That's exactly what happened. FARRAKHAN said, I can see. Well, how do they know? Because they couldn't see. If they could see, they wouldn't have followed him. They wouldn't have been with him 1 second. Because they see he was an obvious enemy. But he said, I can see. Well, we can't. So, hey, let's get with him. He's leading them to destruction. See, so when you go out there and say stuff, you just BS yourself. Because I know the people that claim they can't see, they're blind. Because they're relying on memory. All they do is repeat what they hear me say. Have you seen anything? Because when you can see all kinds of stuff. You see stuff that other people don't see. But when you're blind, you don't see anything. And all you can do is rely on memory. And that's what they're doing. They want to hurt themselves. Like I said, I haven't met anybody yet that can see. They're all blind. And the problem is, see, it didn't have this problem in the past. The past didn't. The problem you have right now is, see, with Elijah and before him, the problem you have right now is, see, they didn't have the abilities. Well, the problem you have right now is, right, is that somebody's on the scene, right? They show them open eyes. They refuse to open them. They can open their eyes now because before nobody, you're blind. They don't know how to open their eyes up. See? So they're like, no, just follow me. But somebody comes and says, okay, here's, and they refuse to do it because if they're still blind, that means they refuse to open their eyes. Because I talk all about energy management. Yeah? It tells you the Lamb, he was the only one worthy to open his eyes. They say he was the only one able, only one worthy, because he decided to go and open his eyes and make the commitment, energy management, because it takes energy to open your eyes, it takes energy to do everything. So he applied the energy necessary to open his eyes. And so you can see, well, you can't see, so nobody can see it, he can see. That's the problem. A blind person can't see that you can see, but you can see that they can't see. And so the problem is with followers and those people that claim an angel, they're followers. They may be believers, but believers based on faith. I don't need that. Because as soon as, if I'm not around, then the next person come along, just like FARRAKHAN, and they say, oh, no. See, if they said this about Elijah before Elijah left, oh, man, you crazy, that wouldn't happen. And it happened. It was easy. Because, see, you be bumping around, all that kind of stuff, see? And what's bumping around? It's like saying stuff that's not right. Because your memory is failing. Because you can't see, so you got to rely on memory. So, oh, man, was it 7 steps or 8 steps to that place? Right? Or, is something in the way? So you ain't seeing it clearly because you can't see. Memory is not as clear as sight. Sight is clear. Memory is questionable. So you start bumming stuff, saying things not right, all that kind of stuff, because you're blind. And so you're fooling yourself, because in tribulation, you will not have a guide. You won't have a seeing-eye dog, you won't have any of that. If your eyes not open, then you're going to lead yourself and anybody else with you into total destruction. People always say, hey, I had somebody not so long ago, right? I don't want to say her name. And I says, you think you can handle tribulation? Yeah, I can handle tribulation. I said, how do you know you can handle it? See, that was the wrong answer right there. Because they asked me to handle tribulation. I said, I don't know. I based on what I know, I might be able to, I don't know. How can I know? I haven't done it. But when you say, I know, how you could say you're going to do something you haven't done before? See, people don't understand. They say stuff. I know I can handle it. And now the person gone. He ain't around anymore. Just say stuff. And see, that's the problem with being ignorant and stupid, because you can't appreciate intelligence because you think everybody's stupid. Because a dog thinks everybody's a dog. You may not believe that, but dogs think everybody's a dog. Because that's what they see. They're strange looking dogs, but they're dogs. He can't appreciate your intelligence. He can't appreciate mathematics and that stuff. And that's stupid people. They think everybody's stupid. And so that's why they do stupid things. Because they think nobody can see them. Because they can't see. Same thing as being blind. They can't. All they do is hurt themselves. That's why they have to go to tribulation. Because they're not trusted. They shown they wasn't in trust with Elijah. Elijah did all the work that he did. I mean, he did miracles. Elijah was a third grade. He wasn't rich or anything, and he did all what he was able to perform on his own. And that was most of that was out of faith in itself. He didn't have the mathematics behind it. What was he able to do? One man by himself. It all came to a screeching halt. It's like that. Because it's all, before he was around, all praise be to Allah for the 100, boy, I'd die for him. And that clown said, I'd die for a fire. You a goddamn lie. You're going to die with him, but you want to die for him. People always say stuff. And those guys are the biggest cowards you ever seen. Just remember that guy? He's already showing he's a coward, because right now he's preparing for FARRAKHAN's departure. Oh, see, we can't call us anti-Semites and that kind of stuff. He already preparing for the pressure. He don't want to deal with any pressure. He's a coward, just like his master. FARRAKHAN, they're all cowards over there. So that's why you go to the tribulations. Either you sink or swim, because you have to open your eyes there. And a lot of you going to be too late. You should have opened here, plenty of time open before you got there. Okay? I'm not going to take responsibility for that. I put different myself. I'm not here to convince you or push. I did some pushing. I shouldn't. I don't even like doing that. Push my bills. But the car never got started. You know, people from those old cars, right? I don't know. They're not nowadays, but I don't know what's about them, right? But if they wouldn't start, you push them. Because I know I saw my father do that kind of stuff, right? Push it, and the car would start sometime, I guess. You know, that don't work anymore nowadays. I guess it's kind of different kind of transmission and stuff, I guess. I don't know. It's like, yeah, push. Never started. So I'm not in that push anymore. Waste of time. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Okay? So blind leading the blind, they both fall into a ditch. Because if FARRAKHAN is blind too. You say, I can see. You say, oh, he don't know any damn thing. He knows nothing. He knows nothing. And the thing is, the people that say they believe in this, they don't, because they don't. How can they believe it? They don't even know if it's true or not. They don't know if it's true or not. So since they don't know if it's true or not, then why be committed? See, if you know the house on fire, you sure it's on fire, you get your ass out of there. But if you're not sure about it, man, well, I don't see smoke or nothing, right? So I'm gonna keep on watching the game. That's why their eyes don't become open, because they don't believe it. I go along with it, but they believe 100%. They can call it what they want. That's the bottom line there. Because energy management, I get it. I don't have any wings. I don't have any halo around my head. I don't have any degrees, any of that stuff. But it was needed to. I've been paying this heavy price to do it. I decided to make the price. But they don't believe it. So they're going on faith. They don't see it. Because they did actually be totally different. Totally different. Somebody said, hey man, house on fire. Okay, I'll be in a minute, man. Let me finish watching this touchdown. That means they don't believe the house on fire. They don't believe it's on fire. They might accept your word or whatever. They don't say see some flames, man. I ain't. And so you're going to see some flames in a minute. And if you think if I'm wrong, show me I'm wrong, because you ain't wrong, because you can't see it. Obviously you can't see because you ain't seen anything yet. You're bumping this stuff all the time. And so you don't even know if what I'm saying is true or not. You don't know if I'm saying it's true, and how can you know? How can you know if you don't know mathematics, how you know that when I make a calculation, I say, hey, 5 plus 5 is 10, how you know it's right? If you don't know anything about mathematics, you don't know. I guess. It's like, you know, that there was so the slaves have so-called silver where they go to the store and they couldn't count. So they wanted to buy something, so they put the money in their hand and she showed man said, okay, take how much you need to take. But they didn't know. They just trusted him that he would take the right amount, which he never did. So you couldn't possibly believe. I mean, you may believe, but you don't know. It's the difference. I don't want people to know. If we have knowledge, you don't need faith anymore. Faith is a substitute for knowledge. If you don't have knowledge, then faith, you have to deal with faith. And they operate on faith, because how do you know it's true or not? They can't prove it. So I know it's true or not, just because I'm saying it. They said, well, I see some evidence. Well, he said this and this happened. That's sort of a proof, maybe. You got false prophets out there. But Elijah made a lot of prophets that was wrong, and they still believe in him. So that really doesn't matter that much, does it? It depends on how you look at it. Move on, brothers and sisters. Angle, let me show you this. I spell that right. I think I did. It's not angel. I always messed up with that one. That's one word I don't like, because I always get it messed up. There's a couple of words that I get always messed up all the time, because they just don't look right. NG. Yeah, that's right. Because see, that's the English language. It doesn't sound like a spell. Like Bible. That's not it's spelled one way, that's not how it sounds. And angle See, angle doesn't. Oh man, that's the English language. Because a lot of words don't sound like they can spell them, and so therefore that kind of throws me off all the time. Right? So you have to remember how it's spelled. You can't. That's not in Arabic. Arabic is spelled like it sounds. Not English. Oh damn thing is corrupt. Okay, let me talk about this. It's just right here. That's an example I'm talking about. See right here? Now you got this here and this slight deviation. This is all small, man. I only made a little small mistake. See, it's mathematics. It's hardly notice. It's that small angle at 1 degree, man. Oh man, it's just one little thing here, man, what you get all upset about. Remember that thing in school, a telephone? You say one thing, get the next person, well, I just changed a little bit. Next thing I come back, I don't know, a horse got 4 legs. And then by the time you get back to you, right, a dinosaur got 2 legs and he's tall as out. Wait, I ain't seen it like that, because it's a little change. That's why they give you that little thing in school. I don't know why they do it, because people just lie about anything anyway. But it's a good little example. Just, I don't notice that, but see what happens. But see, after a while, after you keep going to that angle, the further you go, the worse it's off. And that gets back to what I can't tell you, so like, this got past me. Usually things don't get past me like this did. Because I was talking about, and that's why I pay attention to things, and I got so many things going on in my mind, so I'm making excuses. So, and I got past me. So I'm talking about FARRAKHAN. Elijah said, you can't stop calling devils devils. I said, it's a damn lie. He never said that. Never said nothing in his ministry, because he's just logic, right? How come nobody knew it but you? How come nobody knew it but you? Only FARRAKHAN. Because that's the way FARRAKHAN portrayed it, right? And I mean, I should have caught this, because I mentioned this before, but not in this context. Because I mentioned before, I don't know if in this venue, right, where Malcolm X, if you go watch the old movies, the one where Denzel played him, and then the other one with the Grandfather Harlem, whatever, that was his trick. After he broke with Elijah, right, he claimed went to the Middle East. And the way I explained it, right, so I don't know how I didn't catch this one, right? He came and said, hey man, it's all white folks over here. Like, he didn't know that. I mean, when you grew up and saw this stupid movie on Alibaba and 40 Thieves and Sesame, Open Sesame and all this stuff, we show Arabs. It was always white. Lawrence Arabia, they're all white. Which is a lie itself, but it was all white. So everybody knew that. Everybody thought Arabs was white. That's where people, it was strange. In fact, it was weird. I mean, it was a surprise to find out that Arabs wasn't white. Because when Prince, I can't remember his name, during the so-called 90s, I guess it was, when they invaded in the Middle East. I think it was during that time. Prince, damn, I can't think of his name. He was one of the princes. And he came over, he was like an ambassador or something. He came over, and the man was dark skinned. He had to think one of these names, I don't know if what his hair was like, he was dark. I was surprised, because he was a prince, he was in the royal family. Mom was a black woman. See, he was, because nobody respected, everybody thought they was white. So he goes and says, oh, see, Elijah said, white folks are devil, but these people ain't devil, they're Muslims. That was his trick. He was turning against Elijah. See, when he said that, and you saw other places, and he says, no, white folks are devils. See? And Elijah Muhammad said, stop calling white people devils, because the lesson say it's the Caucasian white man's the devil. Stop calling white, because that's what he would do. He says, well, there's something wrong with he's saying, because they ain't devils. You see? And that's wrong behind that. That's what Wallace did. Wallace said, see, we got one thing saying it. Well, he said white people are devil, but man, from he's white. Trying to show
Elijah Muhammad was a liar, didn't know what he was talking about, tricking people. Because how you going to tell that white people are devil, then the God, you say who's God? He's white. So you mean God is a devil? That's the trick they was doing. Now I knew this. I've spoken this before. I just didn't make the connection between what FARRAKHAN said. Because see, I got a little emotional on that one. I ain't making no excuse. I got a little emotional on that one. So I got to tell you, tell the goddamn lie. And so thinking things through, and that's happening. You know, think things through. I said, you telling a lie. Might as well have never said that. Well, he did say that, but in the context he was saying it is stop calling white folks devils. Is because he was reacting to what Malcolm was doing, the trick Malcolm was doing. He said, let's say Caucasian white man, because obviously Master Muhammad's white. Skin's white, it's not skin tone. Elijah Muhammad talked on that. See? And so I should have caught that one. But when I had a little conversation, a little text thing going, I said, oh, well, when am I going? I said, yeah, well, no, he wasn't lying about that. He didn't tell the whole truth about it. He didn't say stop calling devils devils. He said stop calling white people devils, because that's not what the lesson says. It says Caucasian white man's a devil. So I had to correct myself on that one. But that shows he's a liar, because the lessons say that. But he used it as a trick. Same thing Malcolm did, same thing Wallace did, same thing. See? Stop calling white people. Yeah, he did tell them that. He told everybody that. Stop calling white people devils. Because they was used as a trick to undermine him and to point out the Master Muhammad must be a devil, and so forth and so on. And the Arabs, they white over there. It shows that Muhammad knows what he's talking about. That was the whole point. And so I'm saying, little things like that, just switch a little thing. Let's see all the trouble you cause. Oh, yeah, that's a small little thing. That was a small little thing. Oh, just call white people devils. A small little thing, right? Look at the problem it caused. It's just a small little thing, and after a while, look, it gets worse and worse and worse. If you go further and further forward, it gets further and further apart. That's why you got to get it right. It's a little thing. Oh, it's a little thing, right? And it grows. It grows. It gets worse and worse and worse. I have to be very careful what I say when I do. That's why I put a book together about the angel when I first broke the seals, and I always looked at the book, how much I've changed. There's only one change in there that I detect. Right? After 30-some years, still faithful to everything I said then. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. Okay, there's another concept here. Now see, I told people that nobody listened. I said nobody takes it serious. Because first of all, you have to see it, take it serious. You have to see the lion coming, take it serious. If you hear it, well, he could be going anywhere. It's a lion out there. How do you know it's coming after you? I mean, if you're deaf, you hear lion and tiger, you hear all kinds of stuff all the time, so you're used to it. So he said, well, yeah, I hear them, but because I hear them, that doesn't mean they're coming after me, because you're used to it. If you're in Africa and you're deaf, you can hear that stuff all the time. But if you can see, then you can see it's coming after you. But right now, you got to act on faith. Well, I hear them out there, but I'm not getting excited because I don't know what they're doing. I know they're out there. They're in the jungle. But if you can see, it's different. You're going to have a whole different reaction. You see? A whole different reaction. So they can't see. Because the reaction, right? They're not accomplishing anything. They're bumping this stuff all the time. Having to show one new thing. Oh, there's store open over there. That store closed over there. Or they moved this, no. It's the same old thing, man. Oh, let's go. I'm going to go to Popeyes again. It's not Popeyes anymore. It's McDonald's now. Oh. Let's look at this. That's why I said study vectors. If people are serious, they will study vectors. Because I tell you, that's the. I say everything's Elijah Muhammad said that Islam is mathematics, Islam, proving no limit time. He never taught the mathematics of it. I give the mathematics of it. So if you were serious, it was your beauty to go in and check the math to see if the math is right or not. Because right there, I proved to you that I don't need to bother with this. So look at the math. If you can do math, you check the math and say, okay, it doesn't add up. That solves your problem. If it does add up, then that means, hey, I need to be on top of this. But if you haven't done it, you don't know, you're still blind. Because if you sit on top of it, you see the math, then you're going to have a whole different reaction. Okay? Right? People didn't do it. Yes, study factors. That's the science of it. Study pressure. They didn't do it. So that means they don't really believe. If they did, it'd be a whole different reaction now. Either they'd be gone, or they'd be fired up. They'd be gone, on the battlefield, fired up, slaying demons, slaying devils. Like myself, right? Okay. But the point is, I can't say, well, you can't. I see what I've done because you can't see what I've done. It's like a person, they go out and they build something. The blind person don't know they build it, so they can't they can't go back and tell, see, I built something, no, because you can't see. So they don't even know if I broke the seals or not. They just take my word for it. They don't know I broke the seals or not. Take my word for it. Think about that one. Okay, say for instance you get 1,000 units of energy a day, right? So you use math to prove all. Say you get 1,000 units of energy a day. Everybody gets 1,000 units of energy a day, right? So we'd have enough. So say you just have enough energy to maintain yourself, right? You need 1,000 units a day. You get 1,000 units a day, right? Now maintain yourself is all about discipline, right? The more discipline you have, the more you can maintain yourself. But you need energy for discipline. So say you discipline yourself at the point of 1,000, you're getting 1,000, you discipline yourself to 1,000. So that's how you conduct yourself, use your energy to go to the gym or whatever you're doing, you maintain yourself, right? Okay. So then, but you take a step further. You start, okay, error. Hold on, brothers and sisters. I know what I did. Hold on. I mean, I could do it that way, I don't want to do it this way. I can let it go, but I don't. Okay. I know I got changes. I didn't tell me change. Okay, there you go. Let's see how it's here. Okay, here. Get across the board. Okay, there you go. There you go. Okay, here you go, right? So what happens is, as you go for it, right, you're going to apply more discipline up to 100, but you only have 1,000. Right? So that means you got 200 now negative energy. But you got much more discipline you had before. You're more disciplined. Maybe you're exercising more, or you're fasting more, or whatever. You got more discipline now. You more disciplined you were before. But now you got this 200 negative, because you only got 1,000. Now I meant to show something else. I just thought about it because it's a little more complicated. But as the universe is contracting, right? So you got 1,000, then maybe next month you got 2,000. So you're growing, right? But for now, so when you get to 2,000, then you don't have this negative because you're 2,000, but you only got 1,200 discipline. Let me say it clearly. Say for instance, energy boosts up to 2,000, but your discipline is only 1,200. So that means, well, you don't have that problem anymore. See, but you're prepared because now you're strong. You got this negative now, but that negative goes away if this goes to 200, and your discipline is only at the 1,200. Say it again. If your discipline if you're at 1200 and you got this negative, but now the energy increased to 2000, right? Well, you're only using 1200 discipline, so you got positive 800 here. So the negative goes away, right? Because if you're only going to apply yourself discipline to 1200, if you can maintain the same, but you would prepare for it because you had this negative, but when it went 200, then the negative goes away, but you got the discipline and you got plus energy, plus 800. Hope you understand that. Okay. This is what happens. So this is what happens. Because now that 200, remember I talked about quality. So now you got 200 as negative energy. So it's going to be surrounded. I mean, it's immediate. It's affecting you immediately. So I'm showing, right? If you add it all up, that's 200. So those are negative things happening to you. Now it could take all kinds of forms. It could take a form in that negative 200. It could be a person that's causing you all kinds of problems. Or it could be a lot of people. It could be like, here, I got 6 people. So one person is negative 25, one person negative 15, one person negative 50, right? Or it could be 2 people. One's a negative 100, one's another negative 100, right? Or it could be not people at all, right? It could be you're having problems, right? You're getting stopped, getting a traffic ticket or something. You're getting all kinds of problems, right? See? Slip and fall or something. Anyway, you have all this negative. So remember I took quality. So, and I said, now the devils, they prevent all the, see, when you have it like that means you don't know how it's coming to you. But if you make somebody personification, then you know. That's why I made the devil's personification about it. So we could see where it's coming from instead of, because if we hadn't put that in there, then we still have all this negativity, but we wouldn't know where it's coming from. It's a famine, right? There's accidents, disease, and you wouldn't know where it's coming from because it's coming from all kinds of ways. But now, since you stop all of that, and all you folks on that, they're all in them. That's why we do that. So we can see clearly. So we know if the devil goes away, that means the problems go away. But if you don't know where it's going to end, because you can't see it. I mean, it could be storms, come all kinds of forms. But we gave it quality by making and personification of our negativity. You understand what I'm saying? So, but the other way I'm saying here is that you have all these things. It's like, when I took, and since I know this was what happened 8 times now, so about a month or 2 ago, right? I doubled up on everything. I was spending like 2 hours gym or 4 hours gym now, right? I was like eating 1 meal a day, 1 meal a day. I started just eating at the end of the week. And I boosted up my salads. And now my discipline is much stronger, but man, all the BS that I'm putting up with. Right? But I understand it. And I go to the gym and all of a sudden these crazy people show up and doing stuff and the distraction, and I get conflicts with people and stuff, because I know that's where it's coming from, because I chose. But I know I hold on to that because I know what's going to happen. I'll have that. I won't be shocked. I already had discipline already. When the war comes, I already have it. And when those negativity goes away, I still got the discipline. I ain't got to start building it up. I build it up now. That's my 100% commitment. I build it now. That's what they should have been doing for building now. So when the tribulation does come, it already happened. Now they got to build the tribulation. How is that going to work? I wait till the war happens. Now I start building up. Not build up now, but I got to deal with all the negativity that goes with it. See? No. Actually, I started upgrading about a year ago, but I really started pushing on. And all of a sudden, we got some neighbors, and oh man, I want to kill these folks. But I knew where it was coming from. I knew when I started doing it, I said, when it comes out this negativity, I said, no. And so when they showed, I said, okay, at least I know that's them. Right? So it wouldn't be no surprise or other kind of, Hope you. I don't know if you understand it or not. Like I said, I don't think anybody understands any of this stuff. But I'm like I said, it's resonance. Keep putting it out there because at a point when the war starts, then people are going to start. They're going to be forced to start thinking. Then they're going to. Right. Then they're going to focus, and it's going to mean something to them. Right now, I don't think it means anything to anybody. Hope you understand that concept. See? That's why I say, you think you go in here without being tried, you know, I was trying to tell you that. Because you start building, your energy, you start discipline, it takes energy to that. So you go more than you're supposed to, but now you build yourself up, you get strong and healthier, but now you got all these distractions. Now you don't want to be a part of distraction, because distraction will come in all kinds of forms. It can come in all kinds of forms. I mean, you can, unless you can make personification of it. So let me give you an example here. Now it says, the Son of Man, right, he says, he will send his angels to gather all that offends him. Well, who's offending? Those people that's the distractions. While he was building himself up, distraction. Because they identified themselves as being a part of the resistance. It brought them out. Right? So like I said, the demons are going to be forced out into you know, like false Israel. He's being exposing themselves because of what happened. So they're exposing themselves. That's how they had to be offensive. They had to be offensive to him, right? So that if they wasn't, how would he know they're offensive to him if they wasn't offending him? And why would they be offending him? Because they was part of the negativity. That was resisting his discipline. Let me say it again. How would he know they was offending him unless they was offending him? And why would they be offending him? Because because his building that discipline. Then these things were distractions. They was offensive, so they built themselves. So therefore, once he moves to the next level, and their power to defend. I mean, he's not negative anymore, but now he gets rid of them because they identified themselves. Now you don't want to be part of that. So I'm saying that right now because I think people. I'm warning people. I'm telling them. Because y'all did make mistakes, you pretend this and everything else, right? And you're a distraction, you're calling distraction and everything else, then you're showing that you're part of that. Expose you as part of that. And that's what happens to those. Because that shows the weakness in you, exposing yourself that you're part of the resistance. You may not realize you're part of the resistance, but you are. Because once that's one things a wise person does. See, you won't be able to do this in the hereafter because you have so much energy. It'd be almost impossible to do this. That's why the wisdom of this time is so different than the wisdom any time in the future. Like I said, the FARRAKHAN changes. So it's mercy and forgiveness about everything after that. That's why we got to make sure all the negative and everything is done here. Because once we get there and the FARRAKHAN changes, then you can do bad things and get away with it because of mercy, because there's so much energy, it covers it up. So we don't want that. That's why we're going to limit all that stuff on this side. I don't know if you understand that or not. See? So one thing is, if you want to draw out the hypocrites, the liars, the disbelief and everything else, increase your discipline. And they'll expose themselves because they're going to show up. Because that negativity shows up. That's quality bringing out. That's to my quality energy. Because remember, now they're going. If that's what they are, they're going to expose themselves. Because before, if you was using 1,200, 1,000, you ain't see them. Because you wasn't building any negativity. You had 1,000 worth of energy, and you was applying 1,000. So you didn't have that negativity. But if you bounce it up, if I boost it up to like 2,000, ooh. They would really, maybe someone come and just try to kill me or stab me because they'd be more vicious. I don't know if you understand that or not. That's what you understand mathematics. You draw people out. Okay. And like I said, that's what the furnace is. You put it in the furnace, and once you burn off their purity, they turn the furnace off. So you draw them out, Once the energy changes with you, the balance, then you get rid of them because they already identify who they are. That's one of the ways you're going to get rid of demons. So he told Elijah, you got to teach both of them because you don't have the wisdom to expose them. But assuming he had the wisdom to expose them and show, because a lot of them you ain't going to be able to see. And then I'll move on, but I was telling people, I said, just because a person, see, you can't just say stuff. Well, they got a black father, a black-skinned father, that don't mean he's not a devil. Well, I want to see what your father is. Okay, he may be black-skinned, but he may be a demon. So, see, I got black. Oh, no, see, it don't go there. And you can't see basically on that. You can't see, because the person right there, in fact, you got a lot of, I told you I didn't want to talk about this too much because it exposed some things. I don't want people exposed right now. It exposed some people, because you got some people that are working for us, that are original people, but they were the devils. And those don't know the original, and they know the original. Some of them know, some don't know. And they work on our behalf. And I'm not going to say too much because they get exposed, because they work on our behalf, because they're really original people. But devils think they're devils, because they white skinned. You see? And then you got a group, a lot of them out there, they look like, and they think they're devils. Why? Because their father passed. He was afraid. He passed. His father was, he was a rape product, right? But he came out with looking white. And so when he had opportunity, he got out of town and told everybody he was white. Nobody knew the difference. And if you go back, there's this person called Clark Gable. Now the old folks know about this. You can go Google it. He was like the Tom Cruise of the 20s, I think, around there. He made this movie called Gone with the Wind or whatever. And I was surprised on and then this other Carol Benning, was it Carol Benning, whatever her name was? She was too. They were black folks. And when she got on Larry, I don't know what her name was, she was a big, and she got on Larry King Live and said, yeah, I'm really black, before she died. It was Carol something. And this guy, I just mentioned, Clark Gable, he had a deep voice. At times he was black, but they didn't know it. He was the biggest star back there. And then when they found out, they kept it quiet because he was such a big star. They was making money off of him, so they never revealed it. But he was really a black person. And so you got a lot of black people out there that are white skinned, and they don't know the original. And so they have children, the children don't know the original. And so they come out, they want to be around black folks and everything else, and they don't even know why. But they could really black themselves. You got a lot of that going. It's not that simple. You say, oh, is your father black? Or your father, he may be black, but he may be a demon. He may not even really know it. He may not even really know it. And one of the ways you know it, because they'll never come up, unless they're original, they'll never come anywhere close as this angel. Anywhere close to it. But remember, an angel ain't getting the angel. Because you got a lot of white folks that can recite the Revelations from front to back. So we understand that, brothers and sisters. It ain't that simple. But the angel is simple. If you just stick with the simplicity of it, that's why I get in math. And I'm going to show you in a minute. I'm going to go back over what I said yesterday. The math is very simple, but the simplicity of Christ. But you make it complicated. That's what I say. Complex minds simplify, simple minds complicate. You make something simple, why? Because maybe you have a simple mind. Actually, all those things I was just talking about, they're really simple. Because I just showed you right here, right? Because once the NOI gets their mind, once they got their mind back and they apply it, same thing, apply discipline, then they're going to force the demons to reveal themselves because they're going to come against them. If you understand that concept, that's another story. I'm not going there, brothers and sisters. Let's move on. Okay, vector reality. 1 second, brothers and sisters. Vector reality. Oh, what happened? Oh. Vector reality. Let me say one thing before I speak to this, brothers and sisters. You know, when I was growing up, I wasn't well liked. I wasn't liked at all, to tell you the truth. And because I wasn't talking about math and science. The other thing was too, because, and people just tell me that, especially when I was in Guam, and I told you they threw me in jail, that kind of stuff, and end up getting this lawyer, right? And he kept telling me, he says, one of your problems is you need to edit your language. What he's telling me is, you're too direct. You say things too direct, right? And I've heard that pretty much some degree, some faith, some structure that all my life. Because I just say how it is. Now it's good I was doing that because I didn't realize the effect of that. But that kept my brain from keep being corrupted. And that's why I have trouble with my children and everything else, because I tell them like it is. See, because people want you to embellish stuff. Oh, you look so pretty and they're ugly as hell. See, you're smart and you're stupid as hell. Now I won't say anything, but if you bring to my attention, yeah, I'm going to tell you like it is. I've always been that way. It says in the Quran they try to get Muhammad to be pliant. It means, oh, say it a nice way. I'm not going to say it now. I'm going to tell you direct. So if you don't like to hear, if you don't want to hear the truth, don't come around me. If you don't like to hear that, so you start telling all this stuff, then you corrupt your own brain. You corrupt your own brain doing that. So after a while, right? You can't distinguish between what's beauty, you know, you tell everybody. And then the thing is, the other thing is you lose credibility because people know, they know they can't trust you because you're going to say whatever necessary to say, like you're a politician or whatever. But people that know me, they don't like me, but they know what I say is you can take to the bank. They know my word is bond, my bond is life, like Elijah Muhammad said. I knew that before I even came there. And I'm going to tell you the truth like it is. And they'll stay with him because he going to, it's like at the gym, the same thing. I don't deal with white folks at all. And I'm not being a hypocrite. Only white folks I do deal with people only jail the guy that get in the face with them. And I tell people like it is. Like his brother came to me one time, he come like a couple of Christmas ago. He come in here, he wants to fist bump, right? Come with a Santa Claus hat on. Okay. I said, man, what's wrong with you, man? I said, hey, man, I ain't know what the hell Santa Claus hat on. Oh, that bugged her because, they surprised and stuff like that. So he didn't speak to me for a couple of weeks and then he finally came back around. He knew where the next year he had no Santa Claus hat on. If you got a problem with that, I'm not going to be a distorted mirror. I'm not going to corrupt my brain to make you feel good. Because you think it's a small thing. If you can't think straight and everything right now, you probably don't know it because you need a straight brain that realize it's crooked. But how you see the contradiction there, the irony there? Like taking drugs, right? You mess around, take all the crack and everything else, you distort your brain. And now how you going to figure out how to get off of it when your brain's all confused? You use clear brain to figure out how to get off of drugs, but it's all foggy because you're on drugs. Those things we don't pay attention to, and this reality. That's why a lot of people not going to make it because you never thought about these type of things. These things that matter to you. You just do your own thing, whatever. Like it has no effect on you because you don't have understanding the consequence. It's all about consequences, and when you boil it down, it's all about consequence. Your consciousness is based on consequence. Everything's a reaction. Your conscious reaction. Every action has opposite reaction. That's consequence. And that's what God is in the most fundamental way. Consequence. And we the mind of God. Consequence. So when you look in the mirror and whatever you see, that's the consequence of what you've been doing with yourself. Period. Not Jesus, not Jehovah, not Buddha, you. Okay, let's look at this. Now see, I'm gonna go over this again. I'm gonna try to. I'm not going to hold the thing. I'm just gonna go to the part about where I might do several parts, but we'll see. But Elijah came with information he got from Master Muhammad. Now they say Islam is mathematics Islam, but they never gave the mathematics behind it. So you accepted what he said on faith, because you couldn't know there was Yaqub, right? You couldn't prove that Yaqub made all this stuff 6,000 years ago and all that stuff. You study the Bible, maybe you get some hints of it there, but you're not going to get that kind of clarity. Maybe an angel. And just not focus on that. Focus on what's happening right now. And get you home. So he came with that, with no proof. But he told you Islam is mathematics Islam. And so they told you, you came to it for whatever reason you came to it, maybe it sounded good or whatever. Right? But he said certain things. So the point is that, but he said Islam is mathematics. That means this must be a mathematics that's driving the whole thing. So it'd be incumbent upon you to try to find the mathematics that way you can verify what Elijah Muhammad says is true or not. Because he says mathematics, it's all mathematics, so therefore if you find the mathematics, you find whether he's true. So therefore you can disregard him or get on board based on whether you find what's right. So, but it says Suleiman will come along, the message come along and give you the math. He make everything simple. He give you a new way of thinking. He break the seals. To show, that's his credentials. So based on, say that's us. So we upright people, like Elijah said, we upright people. Right? So we move in the upright direction, and then what happened? What happened? And he says, there was another people, I did mess this up. Right? That was contrary to us. That was contrary to us. But he said it came from us. Okay? Now he didn't connect it with Adam and that kind of stuff like the Quran does and like I've shown you. But he said it'd be another people. And he said it was grafted from us and given rulership for 6,000 years. He didn't go all the math, all the detail I'm saying, right? He said it came from us. Now, when you understand vectors, because that's the language of force, and I told you force was all about energy, force, pressure. Pressure is just force, spread out. And force is just action, reaction. That's what energy is all about. It's simple as that. Nothing more fundamental than that. But it has to be quality, right? See, force has to be of same quality. They interact with each other. You understand? So if he says that, okay, we grafted a being from ourselves that was contrary to ourselves, and they would cause all kinds of trouble for us, right? But he didn't go on that far. But the point is, if you look at that and say, okay, well, it affect us on a mental level, they would have to be similar. Remember the quality. They'd have to have minds. A cat, elephant, or whatever can't affect us mentally because they're not on the same, their qualities on level. They don't think. They don't have concepts, right? So it has to be somebody that there has to be a quality similar for the affect us. It means so it had to be somebody like us, but contrary to us. And since all life came from us, it has to be somebody that came from us. That was his saying. He said it would be a man, so it had to be a man, a male, I'm not a male, but a human, to interact with us like that. But have somebody come from us be less than us. In order to affect us that way, they have the same quality. They have to have brains too. They have to be able to think too. But they came from us, they've been a grafted version of us. They wouldn't be able to destroy us, that means they're on a lower level, but they still interact. So say I'm just throwing this number out, just say 90% of us. Maybe they can affect us 9%, they can affect 100%. But they would be different. Otherwise, if they were the same, it would be no effect, except make us stronger, better, or whatever. I mean, not stronger, better, but like I was explaining, if you was enslaved in Africa by Africans, you would still have your same name, you have the same religion, you still be the same color and everything else. You just be a slave to them because they're the same as you. They're suppressing you, whatever. But if you had changed your name, your religion, everything else, that means it's a force that's contrary to you. So so that means from your point of view, they're evil to you. Because something that's negative to you, that's what we're evil. Evil is a relative thing. Because from Satan's point of view, God is evil. Because it's against him. From his point of view, God is evil. You understand relativity. Evil is a relative thing. Like I said, sin is when you do something that's harmful to yourself. That's sin, when you're going against yourself. Right? That's why that's why Adam was not sinful during this period of time, as long as he didn't mess with us. It says he wouldn't be unjust until he messed with us. So that wasn't sinful. Mr. Shed Blood was not sinful because that was his nature. He was acting according to his nature. You understand these terms because you've been told something totally different. Absolutes and things. Okay, you understand that? Okay. So that's what he said, and that's what we got here. That's what this tells you. This what tells you this right here. It had to be somebody contrary to us. That's what vectors are, right? If you have because vector you need 3 parts to it, right? So it'd be somebody contrary, a perpendicular, rather, right? Similar to us, but less. It had to come out of us, and that's what Muhammad said. That's what Yaqub was all about. They made from our people, but it'd be contrary. Devils. From my point of view, they're devils. Okay? And it will cause us to be acting on ourselves. And that's what so in other words, here you are. Now you're a mixture between white and black now, and you're not going in the right direction anymore. You're going off at an angle. This is where you were, and this is where you are now. If you follow this pattern right here. And that's exactly the way vectors work, and that's what happened to us. So if you look at this, say, oh, well, this is a mixture of these two. That means this one had to be different and contrary, and I'm not going right, I'm going off some mixture between the two. I still may have some of my nature, but I'm acting like this one. So you might look at it that way. I still got my nature, but I'm acting this way. I'm acting other than myself. I still got my nature, but I'm acting other than myself. You know what I'm saying? Because of the force of this. Okay. Now see this here. I missed something here. Okay. Oh, okay, here. See, to neutralize, remember you had the quality. So to neutralize a force, to neutralize, you have to have a counter force that's not off an angle that's directly. So in other words, if wind is blowing in your car, 100 miles an hour, you're going north, and you got a 100 mile an hour north wind, a west wind, it's going to move you over westward, right? But if you got a 100 mile an hour east wind, it's going to neutralize the west. So you're still going straight, but you got all that pressure on you, but you're still going straight because each one neutralizes each other. Right? So if we're saying that one on the left is the devil, then to neutralize him, you need something that's similar, that's contrary to it, totally contrary, opposite. Then neutralize it, it stops the force, it stops it, it neutralizes that force. Understand these concepts, see? But in this case, I'm showing this is white on the outside, but black on the inside, but it's similar, but it's contrary, so that you can stop this. Because this is going one direction, it's toward the opposite direction. And so we see that the devil was coming after us one way, Master Muhammad coming directly, his lessons go directly against the devils, call them devils, wicked, no good, totally opposite what they were saying about themselves. What they saying, he said totally opposite. Did you notice that? Because that's what this is, to neutralize what they were saying. Because he said they're all lies, whatever. He neutralized everything. He said they're all lies, none of them are good, whatever. Totally opposite what they were saying. You know, I said people that study those lessons don't even understand those lessons, the purpose of them. Because that's the whole thing, to neutralize what they were saying. So once you accepted this, well, he said, you weren't affected mentally by this anymore. Because he neutralized it. He didn't come and say, oh, well, pause, some are good and some good synagogues said no, all of them bad. So if you accept, that means your mind was affected by this, but this neutralized the effect this had on your mind. If you accepted his teachings. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Okay, now, I tell you 6,000 years. But if we says Muhammad said 6,000 years ago, so you never paid attention, because it took 6,000 years to get down to here. That means it takes 6,000 years to get back to where we were before his salvation came. You know about that part, because he didn't give you the math of it. If it took 6,000 years to dig a hole down here, it would take 6,000 years to dig back out of it. So he didn't tell you the math of it, but he did tell you after 6,000 years, the kingdom will be given back to Shah Shabazz. It'd be under control of Master Farrakhan Muhammad for 6,000 years. And then so he didn't tell you, but that's what he said. And there it is right there. Right? So this whole time is the time of Adam. Right? But you got negative Adam and positive Adam. Remember in the Bible talking about the new Adam? I know you didn't pay attention to that, the new Adam. The old Adam caused sin in the world, the new Adam to bring righteousness in the world. Who's the new Adam? That's Master Farrakhan Muhammad. It's still Adam. Adam had control. But this was negative Adam, now he's got a positive Adam. See? Both for Adam. But this is original inside. So he's reversed. He's all negative Caucasian. He's only Caucasian on the outside, so he's reversed. So he's got control of it. So he's forcing the positive direction. He's using that negative, because he had, Master Farrakhan has two natures. But the original side controls, it's in control of that nature, so it's using it in a positive direction. So I know no one's understanding this stuff, but anyway. You know what I'm saying? So that means that on this side, that's why we had to make a made God. Because during this time, we would not have enough energy to control the whole planet. Now Shabazz, they lost control of it, and they wouldn't get control until after 12,000 years over. 6,000 years they lost control, and then it takes 7 years to gain it again. So we have to have another Adam, but a righteous Adam. Because we don't want this one, because it'd be with our turmoil, a righteous Adam, right? Control. And that's why it says, Master Muhammad, right? He would rule with a rod of iron. Who's this rod of iron? The same as him. The Adams too. Righteous Adams. Caucasian on the outside, but original on the inside. Righteous Adams. I'm giving you the mathematics of it, brothers and sisters. So it's still in control of the atom, but we couldn't let this atom control the system. It was just turmoil. So we stopped, pushed into him by who? By this atom. He brings on, he stops him. He has neutralized his power. Right? So he has no control of us anymore. But he has to be there to keep this from rising again for the next 6,000 years. See? I'm going to show you why it had to neutralize it. I'm going to show you that in a minute. How it had, right? That's what has to happen. That's why he says, may God. Like Muhammad taught that. I don't think he's a master black man, but he said that's what he used to teach. If he was going to the temples, and under Mr. James Shabbat, you come and tell us, Elijah Muhammad said to tell you this, tell you that, he told us the last president be a black man. And when I think about it, see, I might have missed that one myself. Because I was there when he said that. Mr. James Shabbat came, not Mr. James, Mr. Yusuf Shah came and told us one night, I think it was like a Friday night, after all the people was gone, they kept, therefore I stayed behind in the temple. He said, Elijah Muhammad said to tell you all that the last president be a black man. And I used to tell my children that when I was growing up. So Obama came along the line. Oh, everybody got religion. They thought that was going to be it. The world was over, and one thing led to another, whatever. And so, and the angel didn't say that, but Elijah Muhammad said there was a black man there. So I took Elijah Muhammad's word for it. At least I thought I was taking his word for it, because that's what he said. And until recently, I had to think about that one again. I said, oh, maybe I misunderstood that one. Right? But the damage has already been done, because they say, oh, he don't know what he's talking about. They walked away from me, all that kind of stuff. When everything didn't go down. But I've been revealing lately. See, and I hadn't thought about it before. But at the time when Obama said, I didn't even know about that at the time anyway. I'm still learning. I'm still studying, right? I knew about the demon war and everything else, right? But when you study vectors, and I did the calculation and everything, I said, well, the locus, that's that vector, and since when you put all the pieces together, I said, America will be totally chaos. There's going to be they turn to steam, so they have no control. The government, everything's going to fall apart. But the only one's going to have some structure with stupid demons, because they got some of us in them. They make a war. And I said it, and I thought about, hey man, I thought what I was saying, right? It says they will have control of America. If they will have control of America, they will gain control of America. When gold comes in, they're going. That's what said, pure victory. And when I was telling pure victory, that's when it came to me. Oh man, that means if they got control, it means to be a black president. So maybe that's what Master Farmer was talking about. I said, oh boy, I missed that one. Because that would be a black president. I said that they're going to have control of America. They're going to gain control of America. The demons will. That's what you see that's what story Samson. He brought America down and brought it down. And then he died in the process, but he brought it down. But he'd bring them down before he died, right? Otherwise he didn't bring them down. So that's probably what he meant. I didn't see it back then. I definitely didn't see it back then when he said it, because I didn't know anything about the angel. And so I just ran with that. And so when Obama came on, I went with it. But the last president of America will be a black man, will be a black woman, will be a black person. Because the demons will have control of America when the goat comes in. Because America will be total chaos. There will be no governmental control. The military, everything is falling apart. There'll be some military, but it won't be much worse, because the demons defeat them. Because they're going to be they're going to be unified. Not strongly unified as we. They'll be unified where America's all total chaos. So, I really got that one wrong, didn't I? Right? So that's what I'm thinking, because that's the way I see it now. Okay, let's move on. Okay. And see, I'm showing the vector types I'm using. Travis Shabazz is that black one there. In fact, I think I missed one here. Yeah, I did miss one. Because when I show it's gray, that means it's affected by both. I didn't show that one here, but yes. And that's the grafted atom, contrary. Right? Here's a semi-grafted Shia, or that's mass prime number 2. They're in that same category. You say, why would they be ruling? You ever ask yourself that question? Why would they be ruling? He said he would rule. He says he'll be ruling the nations with a rod of iron. He'll be ruling. You say, well, why would they be ruling? Why not the tribe of Shabazz? Why these? And as far as India is concerned, it considers Europeans, but the Muslim side of it, which means they're original, but they be ruling. That's Muhammad, they're king. King of Lords. And then you got the grafted demons. Black on the outside, white on the inside. Those are the symbols I'm using. I forgot the gray one here where it come, between the two, right? Okay. Check my sound here, brothers. Okay. Yeah, okay. So like 5 years ago, there we were. Yeah, we already created Yaqub, right? But we came in contact with Yaqub directly, right? 400 years ago. And they came and got us. Now we're interacting. See, we're having control, see? And that's the effect. So we got changed, more like them, less like us. We still got some of our nature, right? But I relate everything, so it's great. We're more, maybe they make it more like them and less like us. You see? That's the effect they have on us. So we change our name, culture, language, everything. So now we're gray instead of black. Still got some of our nature, but we got their mind. Our nature, their mind. They can't give us our nature, right? When they give demons, then that's demons. They give, right? They try to destroy us by taking our women, and so therefore, but that's still them. You understand what I'm saying? That's what the messenger taught. It says we're righteous people. It says, and they do what they did to us. They force us to act other than we acting on ourselves. So it's who you blame. You blame the wind that's blowing you. You blame if the leaves are shaking, who you blame, the leaves or you blame the wind that's causing them to shake. If you drive down the road and the wind has got you, if you swerve because of the wind, who's the fault? That's you or that's the wind. So you don't blame you don't blame the leaves, you blame the wind. But FARRAKHAN is saying it's you. And it's the wind that's causing it. Who's doing that's them. That shows you a lie. The mathematics right there, simple mathematics, if you go that far, you're finished with FARRAKHAN because you know he's a liar. Because he's blaming us, when it's his people that's causing us to act this way. And there will be the solution then. Stop the wind or get away from it. You see, that's what Elijah Muhammad taught. Just, I don't have to go any further. Just that right there. Just right there, don't go any further. That right there sums up what Elijah Muhammad said. Just in general, right there, just that right there. That's simple math. That's easy. Half an hour study of vectors would show you that. That shit right there, Elijah Muhammad was right. And that's exactly what he taught, and that's exactly what's happening. And that exposes FARRAKHAN as a liar right there. You wouldn't be FARRAKHAN 5 seconds. And expose the devils as the devils, because they're the ones that cause us to act like that. It's not our fault, it's us. And that we righteous people, right there. That statement right there sells all of that. Sells it all. Sells it all. Right there, don't go any further. Right there. FARRAKHAN is a liar. Devils are devils because if we're reacting in a devilish way, that means it's cause effect to them, not us. If we act in that angle, that means because of them. So if we acting, if you look at the wind, you look at the leaves, say the winds are blowing north, west, that means that cause the wind is blowing northwest. So you blame the wind. Say, now you know what kind of wind is blowing because the way the leaves is blowing. So if we look at the effect they have on us, that shows who they are. That shows they devils, like Muhammad said. Because we acting devilish shit. Because if they was righteous, they would be acting righteous, more righteous. If they was like us, like in Africa, back, they'd be pushing us further straight up. We'd be going straight up. So it shows. He said they're devils. We're righteous. They're wicked. Solution is to get away from them. Isn't that the way taught? And that's right there. That's right there. If you can't see it, I don't know whether that maybe I don't think. No. If you can't see it, then it's on you. Show me the math. Tell me that's wrong. Show me that's wrong. Tell me that's not what he said. That's the mathematics. That's very simple. Very simple is what he said, and that's it. Because now you got a proof of it. Because you say, oh man, that sounds crazy, man. You're saying that we was here, and then some people came out of us, and they came out, and they make us act crazy, and man, where y'all get that stuff from? Here's the math of it. That's what the math says happened. That's what he said happened. Here's the math that proves it. And then the story about Elijah, which Elijah, he had to come to get one prepared a way. He didn't prepare the way for us. He wouldn't clean us up. He come to prepare the way to get started. But when he come, he's still coming in winter time, before the spring. To let you know he's a warning. He's telling you. He's a messenger. Say, hey, spring is coming. That's what Master Muhammad told him. Tell him, hereafter's coming. The promise, the vision, all that's coming. But we're in the winter now, and they got to survive the winter to get to the spring. So they got to teach them how to deal with the winter, because they're freezing, because they don't know how to deal with the winter. Because the devils are beating them, they ain't taught them how to deal with the winter. So now they got to learn how to deal with the winter, so they be around and disciplined enough and everything else to go into the spring. You understand that? Because they still came to, the winter wouldn't be over to 2020. And this is 1930s. So they said, we got to get to this winter. If we don't, they won't be around for the spring. So that's where he come. He started preparing you. He didn't tell you about how to prepare for how to get to the hereafter. He said how to prepare to get to the hereafter. How to get control here. Real estate, stores, self-help. So does it make any sense now, brothers and sisters? Because people say, well, if America, if FARRAKHAN, if Elijah wanted to go to hereafter, why wouldn't he build something hereafter? See, because they say stuff like that, throw you off. I said, no, because we're still in the winter. And you got to survive the winter. And we was frozen. We didn't know how to deal with the winter because the devils, they winter people. They was throwing ice on us and hail and everything else. They was, right? We weren't going to survive. Remember all the stuff they was doing, hanging us, Jim Carter? So did this so you could survive the rest of this winter, so you'd be around when spring comes. And that's what he did. Start telling you how to survive during the winter. Self-help, right? That's what he did. So what's the effect of that? And then they said, oh, Elijah come and tell these people, right? And so he's talking about a vision, trying to straighten, get him going to counter what we're doing. See, because if this vector's going just here, that means he's going to start making more straight, because he got some help now. See, this has got him going off at an angle, but this is trying to make him hit him going more straight again, right? See? So he said, oh, that can't happen. So you got to add some more to mind, right? To neutralize what he's doing. See? Because he's telling you, hey, you're Israel. He gave you a vision. He got to come and destroy that vision. Elijah coming to give you a vision, so he has set forth to destroy that vision. No, see what I'm saying? You see the math here? So that's what, because Elijah Muhammad's giving you the vision, he's coming to destroy it. He ain't straightening out yet, he's getting you the vision, right? So that adds on to it, right? So now Elijah, right? He's got you going. Remember, getting your some of your nature, strength of some of your nature, and starting to get you going the right direction again. He got to go partially, right? That's all he could do, right? See what I'm saying? But he's out there destroying that vision. And out to get help, self-help and everything else, help you get to that winner. And they said, man, we can't have that. So they got to send some men to put you back, to destroy what Elijah did, to neutralize what Elijah was doing. See, they had somebody to neutralize the vision, and they had to, that's as far as Israel, and they had somebody come in to neutralize what? Self-help, take all that stuff away from you. Put you back in the cold again. Because that's where the people are in. They work for master again, they had their own jobs. When I was there, my bank was Nation Islam Bank, my car was financed through there, right? I worked at Muhammad Speak newspaper. I was a foreman night shift, right? I lived in a complex, Nation Islam housing complex, at a beautiful apartment, right? I shopped at Nation Islam stores. How had to deal with devils at all? See what I'm saying? So I'm ready for the winter. I'm cool, man. I'm warm now. The winter's not bothering me. See, he showed me how to deal with this winter, and now it ain't bothering me. Now I get ready for the spring. It's not bothering me. See, devils ain't bothering me now, because they're the winter people. They're the ones throwing hail and snow and everything on me. I'm freezing my ass off because I'm a spring person. And then FARRAKHAN came, took all that away, put you back under their control again. Now you work for them again. Because that employee is just another name for a slave, an industrial slave. We didn't have employees when we came here, and we don't have employees when we get out. That's just part of the system. See, this is modern day, they don't want to call you slaves, so they call you employees. You understand? That's exactly what happened. That's the math of it. So Farrakhan had to come and neutralize, that's what he did. He didn't build a goddamn thing. He talking like crap, he didn't build anything. So now you don't work for a nation, you work for the devils. You live in devils' houses. You rent from them and whatever. Back in the winter, back in the cold again. Freezing your ass off again. 42 years. See, they got you on back like you was before. They're gonna turn you back around. Understand the basic math. If you have problems with math, tell me. That's FARRAKHAN's job to do. That's what he did. Expose them. And then, this was about to happen soon. Remember? That's what he was set up for. To neutralize. Because we couldn't do it. We don't have enough energy yet to control the world. We don't have enough energy to neutralize the devils. Master Muhammad does. That's why it's a two-stroke thing, two-punch thing. Master Muhammad and the Lamb. One to give you the mind, and one to get the enemies off your back. To neutralize the negative vectors. He neutralizes them. He boosts you. The Lamb, your mind. See? That's when the war takes place. That's when it happens. Both work simultaneously. So when that happens right here, then what happens then? What happens to you? Okay, God and my God defeated. I missed something here, brothers and sisters. All right, so I got extra in here. Okay, so it's okay. Now, at that point, right, you're on momentum. So momentum, you got a force, but once the force, you put support on the gas, and that's the force pushing it. Right? But if you took your foot off, you're still going the same direction. You don't have no force anymore because that's momentum. It's called momentum. So now, once you neutralize the devil, you're still momentum because you're still going in the same direction you was going. They're not forcing you anymore, and you ain't getting right. See, but you're still going at an angle because that's right. That's the mind. You still have that mind. They neutralized, but you still. They gave you the mind. You still got the mind, even though they're gone now. They neutralized, right? So that's what Suma has to come with the mind to straighten, give you right mind. And once you get your right mind, boom, then see that power is no power to keep you there. You saw momentum. Now the force, right? Now you got your own mind. Now you go straight up. Because this is neutralized. They can't. This is neutralized. This is not affecting you anymore. Because Master Farrakhan has neutralized them. He has wiped them out. He's neutralized them. Because remember, the devil will still be around for the next 6,000 years. They just won't have any power. Master Farrakhan will have power. He'll rule them. See, they'd be in hell. I talked about that before. How he pushed up in the north and some would be servants or whatever. Right? But they won't have any power. Master Farrakhan won't have power. He's rule all the nations. And so therefore, they're neutralized, so now there's no effect on you anymore. So now you get your mind back, somebody gets your mind, and now you're going straight like you was going before, and he's lifting you up. That's the math of it, brothers and sisters. Now, if you see something wrong with that math, tell me. But then you gotta understand, you have to have some understanding of math to do that, wouldn't you? Now, let me, I don't know if, I didn't really go into that detail. Let me speak a little bit. Like I said, you can know the nature of something by the effect that it has on something. Now, I talk about the quality again. So he says they had to make, because you couldn't get lions to do what they did. You need a mankind. That's what kind of man. They're the same vector quality that we have to affect our mind. They have to have a mind to affect our mind. But it's a weaker one, but still, it doesn't matter. At the same quality, it doesn't matter the amplitude of it. You know, I mean, one vector can be, have a lot of, like the wind can be 10 miles an hour, it can be 100 miles an hour. That's the length. Right? It still affects you, but depends on how much it affects you, depends on how strong it is. But since they graphed it, and that's why they call them mankind, say, and the Quran called them a beast, so in other words, they, like the Bible says, they have the structure of us without the substance. So they're similar enough to have a mind, even though they have a beast nature, right? But they have a human mind, human thoughts, but a beast nature. So they can have a mind, and since they can affect our minds. But since they're weaker, they can never destroy our minds. They can affect it, maybe cripple it up to 80%. Say there's ours is 100%, and theirs will be 80%. So they can affect it. That's why they couldn't destroy us. They can cause a lot of damage, though. They try to destroy us. They destroyed, in a way you could say it's destroyed, because demons. But demons are really their children. But that was the effort to destroy us, because if they had been successful, we wouldn't exist anymore. There'd be a lot of black folks, black people running around here. There's really demons, white people in black skin. That shows they came from us. They had to come from us, because all life came from us. So that proves that everything Elijah's mama said. The base of what he says, that's it. I just showed you. Now, if you say something wrong with those vectors, tell me. I'll show you the math behind it. No one ever got that. You didn't get that from Elijah. You didn't get that from Prophet Muhammad. You didn't get that from Moses. So you got the knowledge. That's the faith. But you got the math behind it. So you don't need faith anymore. You got the math behind it. And so now you got that. And now once you got it, then you can start seeing. And once you see it, you can see all things more than that. See way down the street, over the side. So you can start saying, okay, let me see something else. Let me see. How would I do this? How would I do that? How do the vectors work in this situation here? You see? How they would think, okay, how can we, this is what we got to do, so we don't want chaos doing energy deprivation. So we produce a being similar to us. The head didn't require as much energy, so they have enough energy to produce a civilization. It's better than no civilization. A bad civilization is better than no civilization. Otherwise, being wild, everything be chaos. But there'd be personification of our image deprivation. So negativity wouldn't come from famines and disease, all that kind of stuff. It comes from that, so we can see it. That is the personification of our image deprivation. And so when the time is over, but then you say, okay, well, we can't get rid of it for 12,000 years. Well, we can't have that going for 12,000. So what we do is this is wise people thinking. Let's create another being, made man, that has the opposite direction that one. Right? And so they can neutralize them, so we're not beyond their control for another 6,000 years. Because 6,000 years was bad enough. Another 6,000 years, we'd be totally messed up. We would survive it, but man, well, how we survive it? Pure victory. Right? The whole planet be all messed up, be radiated, because that's what they plan to do. Master Muhammad's going to stop. There will be no nuclear. There will be no nuclear war. They keep talking about. Master Muhammad's purpose is to make sure it's not. Because why we want to inherit a radiated Arabia? And it tells you would have houses, you would live in houses you did not build, and said be grateful for it. What are they telling you? Because all that stuff they build over there right now. So all of a sudden, all this building the last few years, all that building over there, they're building for you. Arabia's not going to be torn down. And so he's up there worshiping. Yeah, good. That means by your ignorance, you're protecting Arabia from war and destruction. Because when they go to war with Iran's going to take it, but they're not going to tear this country up. Because Master Muhammad's going to believe. That's why it says, Michael and his angels, he's going to tell them, no, don't tear up Arabia. Because that's where your brothers going to be living at when they come here, and they'll be here in a minute. And we ain't going to let false Israel irradiate the place. Because their nuclear weapons they're going to be duds. That's why I say Michael and his angels. Because this angel say, oh man, well, how are you going to, the place going to be all messed up? Because Michael's going to be in charge of it. So and we know he can control all of that. That's why I understand. That's why I said these things. So like I said, when they talk about Abrahamic covenant, and then they go into about, they say Abram. Why do they keep saying it? That's the only place they do it. They don't do it in the Quran place, just right there. Why do they say it? Because you can't just say stuff. There's a reason why I do that. And that's an atomic bomb that you just diffuse by saying Abraham saw this. It's an atomic bomb right there. Because it's telling you that the people call Ham is really seed. Who they call Ham? Us. That is so. And they didn't see that. That's right there. I say, wait a minute. Why did you say Abram? Well, and who is Ham? Ham, oh, that's the Negroes, man. They deserve to be slaves and everything else, right? Well, why did they call Abraham? And they be separated from Abraham. So who separated Abraham in the separation? What's the other part? Ham. That means the other people that you call Ham, that is the truth to Abraham. You see how you use that power in that? But you diffuse it, you had a big old shotgun, right? And you put blanks in it. How powerful it is. That's a statement you could have made when you was talking about that. That's something you could have put in your presentation right there. Look at that. How could they argue with that? That would knock them back on his heels. Then you got to find some other kind of way to neutralize you. Because how can you get away with that one? Why would they go and call Abram like that and move the ham off? And tell them that your seed will be separated from you. And sojourn, why is sojourn? They don't even mention that. It's clear. Sojourn means temporary. There's another blank that should have been a bomb. It says your seed will sojourn, it'll be temporary there. FARRAKHAN going to be here permanently. All this stuff that you don't pay attention to with bombs, I'm giving you all these atomic bombs and everything else, and you around here throwing spitballs. Don't understand? So those are things powerful. The Abram things are powerful. That's the only place to do it. I say, why? And he's talking about his seed be separate. And then this part is Ham. I mean, you don't need to be a genius to figure that one out. Ham? Who is Ham? That's them niggas. They curse. Right? They've been enslaved for 40 years. Oh wow, 40 years. This land not theirs. And the other question, they must be Abraham's seed. Abraham is separated, so he's called Abraham. I think I covered everything here, bro. Says I don't think I need to do this again. Like I said, but so anyway, if I missed something, I got it. I'm gonna run through this real quickly. Where we at? Oh, okay, I'm gonna run through this quickly. I'm gonna do this. I already told you this yesterday. Well, let's look at this. See here. Remember, the vectors on his brain, the mental vectors. Lion can't put vectors on your brain because they don't have a mind on a level. It has to be same quality. Get to my quality. So his things, they've been infected with all lies and everything else. Right? So this is how he's acting. These are vectors mind. Remember, he got vectors going outward, and they neutral. No, because his nature is the vectors going outward. These are vectors coming in his mind. This is mind. See, mind feeds information to the brain. That's inward. The mind is not the brain. It's like software. It feeds information to the brain. So if you control that information that's going to the brain, you control the decision and everything, the way the person act. So this is the information coming into this is the mind he has. This is stuff here that they give him. So he's acting like that, right? So then what? Boom. Now Thomas Gray knocked him out. Now he come back to his own mind now, because he don't have that mind anymore. Now he's a warrior, ready for battle. See? Hope you understand our concept, brothers and sisters. Okay, let's deal with this. No, I'm going to do this in the short. You know, the prophecy said, I say, I know some people, they're very technical. And I have no problem with being technical. But when you communicate with a person, you got to communicate. That communication is I might say, is an art. But if you build something, you need to be technical, right? When you're communicating, you have to communicate the technicality, the technical. If you try to tell somebody to build something, you got to tell them all the technical aspects of it, right? But you got to put it in a way that they can relate to it. You don't overcomplicate it, but it's a technical thing. You have to talk technical, so they have to have some idea technical. They have to have ability to understand the technical for you to communicate the technical. So that's speaking their language, basically. Right? And the clearer and the simpler the communication is, the better. Because you can tell somebody 5 + 5 = 10, and they span, what the hell are you talking about? So you got to speak their language. Anyway, bottom line is that here we got this FARRAKHAN, and he says, he prophesied. He said, point is, but you look, if you look at this thing in a general way, you can imagine God will come. He prepared. He said, Elijah. Elijah prepared the way for the message of covenant. Who's Joshua? All of them are there. Joshua's the one that should take you home, not Elijah. Who's it, Joshua? Joshua and Jesus, same name. The way you say Joshua in Greek is Jesus. The way you say Jesus in Aramaic is Joshua. So you got the God, you got Moses, which is Elijah, then you got Aaron, which is FARRAKHAN, and then you got Joshua. Aaron doesn't make it to the promised land. He gets killed right there in the wilderness. That's the story. Take it. It's right there in Exodus. So therefore, you expect the God come. They accept that. Oh, yeah, the God came. They tell you that. People that's really like the God came. Yeah, it was man from Muhammad. And Elijah, he's the one. Yeah, he raised Elijah. Sends Elijah right there in Malachi. Basically, Elijah's the last one. That's not what it says there. If you take Exodus 9, it's Elijah. No, because Elijah's taken away. He's taken it back up to God. He leave Aaron in charge. What Aaron do? Aaron caused all kinds of trouble and misery and all kinds of destruction. And then Moses come back and he get rid of Aaron and all the demons with all the people with him, and then he puts Joshua in charge, and Joshua takes it home. That's the story. And that's the story. So how come they have a problem with that? Because they're blind. It's the story. So that means you got the God came, yeah. Elijah, they want to stop right there. They want to stop right there. But it says no. He'll be taken away. In the meantime, there'll be who's in charge and sitting in his seat will cause a number of trouble. They would turn people against God and against Moses and against the teachings. It says right there, God sent them back. So they turn people against your way. They turn people against your teachers. That's what Aaron has done. So FARRAKHAN says, Aaron, well, that's exactly what he's doing with exercise. So why you got a problem? Why are you confused on that when it says exactly that's what he would do? And that's exactly what he's doing. See, this is powerful stuff that you could be doing instead of bullshitting around and talking this here and echoing and all this kind of stuff. It's all kinds of powerful stuff there. And you don't really need too much of an angel to see that. That's something you could have figured out yourself. Because it's right there. It lays it out. It lays out so clearly. The God would come, he raised Elijah, and God was against Aaron because he told Elijah, you don't need him. It's right there. And he got angry at him because he kept insisting. So he said, okay, you got him. And then Elijah would go back to the God. And then Aaron would be left behind. He's caused all kinds of trouble. And then when Moses returned, they had to get rid of Aaron and all his people. And then they turned it over to Joshua. He took the people home, the message of the covenant. The God, Elijah, who prepared the way for the message of the covenant, and then someone who was robbing the nation. The nation, cursed with a curse. That means he have a disease. He'd be cursed. He'd be disemboweled or something. FARRAKHAN, cancer, disemboweled, shitting and pissing in the bag. How can you miss it? How can you miss it? This is simplicity that we should be talking about instead of talking all kinds of stuff and make up stuff about something. What was this person called the maintenance man? What the hell is that? Who is that? Well, I just told you it's very simple. Look how powerful it is, and it's totally consistent. It's totally consistent with the scripture. Simply, totally consistent with scripture. So exactly, they can't argue with that. I said, well, scripture's wrong. Well, scripture's wrong. You should throw it all away. Why should you believe? Well, the scripture in temple. What then? How you know the part that you're saying FARRAKHAN is not in scripture anywhere? How you know that's right? So why you should throw the scripture? If the scripture, look, oh man. Look, that steak, man. Oh man, look at that, man. A fly just sit on my steak. And look, he just shit on it too. That little spot right there. So you gonna cut that little spot out? Eat it? If you think you throw the whole damn thing away. So the Bible's corrupt. You should throw the thing away. Throw it all away. This Quran don't tell you that. The Quran tells you got to believe in what's revealed to you and before you. You got to, if you're a Muslim. And what was revealed before the Quran. So if the Bible is no good, corrupt, if God can protect his own word, then that means you should just disregard it. Totally. Anyway, that story is very simple, brothers and sisters. The God will come, raise up Moses, Elijah. Right? Elijah would, after 40-some years, he would take them back to the God. He'd leave Aaron in charge. Aaron would mess up everything. God had said, got angry at him. Moses got angry at him too, because he said, God said he changed the teachings. He turned people from your way, turned me back to Egypt, all that kind of stuff, right? People, well, he said he's Moses' brother. Well, if you understand Angel Key, you understand why I say that. Because if you look at Angel Key, Moses and Aaron, Moses and FARRAKHAN occupy the same spot on the Angel Key. That's why I say brothers, because you have to understand Angel Key for that, but that's another story together. The brothers, as far as Angel Key concerned, was the same spot, right? They both, okay. So, simple story. See, okay. So the point you say, well then, it says he prepared the way. If he's prepared the way for the message of covenant, prepare what? He prepared an organization. So the message of covenant had to build an organization because he had to come in and just give his message. He had to just concentrate on that. But if there's organization, I mean, he's got to spend 40 years building an organization. He got time for that. So somebody had to keep it all. So that's what Aaron, because remember, Aaron kept the organization going, but he's corrupted it. He turned it, made it life and stop. But it still had to be there for the message of covenant to come, because he said he had to cast stones down. That means He sat in that seat, so he had to still be there. And so that was Aaron's job to keep it going, but he corrupted it. To keep it going. So he said, I kept the nation going, yeah, we did that, but he corrupted it. He said what he did to it. You understand? Put all the pieces together, brothers and sisters. And so here it is. Now, let me talk this quickly. They saying, they're saying that the God, that's what they said Sunday, the God prepared a special womb, a holy womb, and a special woman, holy woman, for FARRAKHAN, because he's a gift to God. He's a gift from God. So God prepared by a special holy woman and a special womb, because he's going to put something in there that's going to be a gift to us, FARRAKHAN. Okay, that's what he said. The God is responsible for this. Now he said the God, right? That must be Master Muhammad. They say he's the God, right? The God's hands. He put his spirit. His hands all over this. He's controlling this whole affair, right? Okay. And then let's look at this here. Now, Farrakhan's father. He says father is a Caucasian Jew. Now they changed to a light-skinned Jamaican, but Jamaican's just nationality. But we got a picture of him. His name is Percival Clark. And he says his father's mother and father's father and father's mother are white Portuguese Jews. So that means his father is too. That means if he's a Cedar's father, he's one too. I mean, that's basic biology. But he had two versions. One version, he said his father raped his mama. That's one version. Now they say, well, she was sleeping with another man while she was married to or living with another man. That makes her a hoe, right? See, one is two. It's one or two. They got two versions out there. Either father's a rapist or mother's a hoe. Those two stories. That's the one they told Sunday. She was have sex with this man while she was another man. That's what they said Sunday. So they making her mother to a hoe. But he said, so either way you look at it, right? But anyway, here's his father. And his name is Louis Eugene Grounds. That's his true name. They want to argue about the Grounds part. He's Legion, or the NOI backwards. Exactly what he said he would do. That's what he called me, Mark. Let's move on. I'm going to go this quickly, brothers and sisters. But he's a holy child. This holy womb. Remember that God is controlling this. Got a holy woman. He put his spirit in this, right? She got the spirit of God on her. And this womb got the spirit of God in it. Right? And so what he does, might just show you what is previous. And then either way, this person pregnated that. Wherever her father is, his father, see what his father is. So he had a special womb, holy womb, a special woman. He sends forth a synagogue of Satan. No matter how you look at it, it was his father that did it. Whether she was sleeping with another man or he raped her, it's still he's the same person, right? So, and so if he's a rapist, like he said, then the God got this holy woman and a holy womb, but he sent for a rapist to invade that womb. That's like making a perfect cake and then spitting on it. Worse than that, shitting on it. Why would you do that? It's perfect, it's clean, and everything else. So it's perfect. So she should have been a holy person, right? But he picked a devil, a rapist. Well, the rapist might still pick something that's not holy according to the lessons and have them invade that womb. Remember this, the God's doing this. That's what he said, I'm Master Muhammad. And so the story is, so this holy woman with holy womb, that got this holy child, the son of a holy consummation, which was either done in fornication or rape, was both a holy consummation, right? She tries to abort it. Now, remember, she's a holy woman. Got a holy womb under God's influence, got a spirit of God over her, but she wants to abort this holy child that's a gift to us, that God created as a gift to us. She wants to abort 3 times. 3 times. Does that make sense? Now, from a logical point of view, you say, well, why would she want to do that? And that Farrakhan's first take earlier, right, she wanted to get rid of the baby because she knew it was a product of rape. She didn't want to have it. That makes more sense, right? That means his father raped her. So in other words, I'm a holy woman with a holy womb, and God's controlling the whole thing, but he sent somebody to rape me. Well, what's wrong with that picture? I'm going to get rid of this thing. I'm going to get rid of the gift God gave us. I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to get rid of it. Remember, this is getting she's a gift, and the womb is a gift, but she's going to destroy it, but she's on the Spirit of God. Does any stuff add up? Does it make any sense to anybody? I mean, isn't that the story they said? Abortion, rape, fornication, satanic Jews. That sounds like a horror story to me. That sounds like the birth of a damn devil, a demon. That's not the story they give you about the birth of Jesus. That sounds like a birth of a devil. That's evil. All this evil all over around it. And then they're going to put Matt Muhammad's name on it? Made it written about Satan. That's Satan's son. It said he after the works of Satan. It said Satan be cast out of Satan. What Farrakhan said, he's casting out Satan. That means he's a Satan. It said Satan would cast out Satan. So who's a Satan? He said he cast out Satan, right? They must him a Satan. He's the son of a devil. That's the birth of that's Satan giving birth to one of his son, his main son, Legion. That's the story there. That's the God that's controlling this whole thing. And if that's the case, right, then the child's a wicked child, ain't it? So he's a liar, ain't he? And that's what he said. He said his mother whooped his ass all the time. He was lying all the time. That ain't that what he said about Jesus. Jesus said he was righteous and everything from the time he was born. But this clown right here is a goddamn liar. His mother whooped his ass. That's what he said, son. He whooped his ass all the time. So who they talking about there? They talking about the birth of a goddamn devil. A demon. Because he's a goddamn liar. And plus it said what? No, that had to teach him to love black people. Well, that means he ain't black. Black skin, that ain't his nature. You ain't got to teach dogs to love dogs. You ain't got to teach cats to love cats. But you got to teach dogs to love cats. Because the goddamn devil, they got a mother here teaching to love black people. Because she knew he wasn't. That's why I tried to avoid his ass, because she knew he was a devil. Add all that up. I mean, am I ass subtracted wrong? Is something is my addition? The birth of a goddamn devil. Whole thing. Satan casting out Satan. I'm going to leave it there, brothers and sisters. If that don't move you, nothing will. But like I said, if you're blind, I can show you all the videos and everything you want. If you're blind, I'm showing you video pictures. What are you showing me that for? You don't even know I'm showing you anything. I'm showing you videos and pictures. It don't mean anything to you because you're blind. Because if you could see this right here would rock your boat, you'd be changed overnight. If you could see this would rock your boat, you'd be changed overnight. Because if you could see, I show you get now you see the tiger coming. Hey man, hey, get the hell out of here. But if you're blind, I say, oh, the tiger's over there. Man, well, is he coming here? Or what that should do? Because you don't know. You got to take one. I don't understand, bro. I'm going to leave it there. Maybe tomorrow I'll pick up the rest of this. But that's so powerful. And the master is right behind it. And that story right there, that's the story they told. That sound like a righteous Messiah story? Or a story of Antichrist? Goddamn devil. Son of a devil. That would be the birth of a devil, of a demon. Fornication, rape, lying dog, born this liar, had to teach him how to love black people. And the God's control this. So what God's control that? He said, man, I'm in control. That's where he rolls. No, that's Satan giving birth to his son. I'm gonna leave it there, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.